unable to accept the, the one. It is not fair. That kind of thought is coming again. It is not fair. He has done injustice to me. Somebody is injustice, and it is not fair. This kind of thought coming again and again, and I am unable to accept. It is bothering me.
Everything that troubles you is some kind of a revelation. It tells you that you can still be troubled. Hmm? You need not be grateful for the trouble, but at least be grateful for the revelation. Somebody does something, and that something troubles you. Now, have you not been shown some light? Yes. What have you been shown? That you are still so weak that you have accorded power to the other to trouble you. So see that and say, fine, something has just shown up. Now that's an opportunity for me to take care of it. Had I never known that weakness is lurking within, how would I have ever ameliorated it? Knowing the disease is the first and probably the most important step towards its eradication, is it not? The more you are troubled by the world, the more you see that you accord more value to the world than yourself, than truth, than peace, than silence. Be grateful. You see, you go to the pathology lab. And he serves you your test reports. And one report is telling you that your blood is impure, certain cells are diminishing, certain other cells are too much in number, certain minerals are deficient, certain ratios are skewed. Everything in that report is in the red. Now, do you slap the pathologist or pay him? Why do you pay him? He has delivered all the bad news. He has told you that everything about you is sick. Blood test, all 20 parameters are out of proportion. A certain range is there, 20 to 40, and everything is either less than 20 or more than 40. Right? Liver, kidney, urine, whatsoever is tested is showing up as diseased. Now, why don't you start beating up that man? Please, why don't you start beating up that man? Instead, you pay him, don't you? Now, that's quite strange. Why are you paying him?
First of all, he's just a messenger, and secondly, now that I know of something about it, I can
You will take the report and now rush to the
specialist and
obviously.
और उसका इलाज करेंगे.
Yes. Or would you say that, I'm never going to forget this day and your face. Now that you have done your bit, I'll do my bit.
I'll make your report.
I'll make your report now. Why don't you say that? Please. This is what is called as shooting the messenger, right? What does it mean to shoot the messenger? Somebody is just bringing you news He is a carrier, a vehicle. Why are you venting your anger upon him? The news item pertains to you, not to
The messenger.
him. If something is wrong, it's wrong with
You.
you, not with the
Messenger.
messenger. You cannot bear your favorite sports team losing. Who cannot bear that?
You.
You. And the TV screen gets smashed. What does the TV have to do with your likes and dislikes? The TV is just relaying what is happening. If you are troubled, go within. Why are you smashing the screen?
वो असलियत समझते हैं उसको.
And going within would be hard work. Going within would mean challenging the ego and changing yourself. Who wants to put in that much of work? It's far easier to pick up the shoe and hurl at the screen. And now that the screen is gone, you are a little doused. And it has happened often in history. Messengers have been arrested, prosecuted, killed. So much so that kings had to be repeatedly told, it was a part of their training, that the Doot, the messenger, must be especially respected. You must understand why that was emphasized upon. Because the mind had a great tendency to punish the messenger. Both punish the messenger and also reward the messenger. So if the king gets a son,
You.
all the maids and servants would vie to reach the king first in order to be the first to deliver the news. If you are the first to deliver the news, then you are rewarded. That's quite foolish, isn't it? The woman comes huffing, puffing. Great news, O king. It's a son this time. And the king says, here, take this necklace. Now what has that woman done? And if she has actually done something, then it's bad news. She has absolutely no role in the happening, right? But even that old maid is more clever than the king. She knows the structure of the king's mind. Do you see this? The king is so predictable that even an old hag is able to manipulate him. So she rushes, son, and gets rewarded. Equally, you have heard of that story. The king's parrot died, and it was the king's favorite parrot. And before dying, it had been sick for a while. The king wanted to save the parrot's life at any cost. So the king had said, whosoever comes to me and says that the parrot is dead will get killed. So you better take care of the parrot. Because if you tell me that the parrot is gone, then you too are gone. So now the parrot is actually gone. And then this old woman says, I know what to do. So she goes to the king and says, Sire, the parrot is not eating today. The king says, oh, too bad. He's sick. And she says, you know what? He is not even talking today. King says, critically ill it seems. You know what? He is not even moving. King says, what do you mean? I've got an emergency. You know what? He's not even breathing. King says, oh, so the parrot is dead. She says, fine, thanks. At least I didn't have to say that. Lives have been saved. The king himself said the parrot is dead. So if somebody should die, it would be the king. The world is a great TV screen. It will keep you showing something or the other. Ask yourself, why does that hurt you, affect you, elevate you, please you? Why? Why? And just as the ones on the TV screens in your home know your mind and therefore oppress you, extract money and time and life from you, manipulate you. Similarly, you will remain a prisoner to the world if you allow the world to affect you. Whenever something starts becoming too important for you, an alarm should go off. You should ask, how did I allow that? Not only when you are troubled by the world, also when the world becomes an important source of your happiness. Ask yourself, how did that happen? If somebody can make you feel offended, then it's a great insult to you. And the insult is not that he offended you. The insult is that you allowed yourself to feel offended. Please understand the distinction between these two things. This distinction is the difference between the earth and the sky. When somebody offends you, stop and be warned. Stop not because the other is intending to offend you. The other may have any intention. That is secondary. Stop because you have become so vulnerable that the other is offending you. Stop because you have become so loose that you are allowing the other to dominate you. Remember, the fault here does not lie in the other. It is an internal weakness. The scriptures have called the great self as the great armor as well. If the other is offending you, then it tells you of a big chink in your armor. Getting it? Pause immediately and ask yourself, how did it come to this? That the other could totally rule and ruin my mind. How did it come to this that the other is able to reduce me to tears? How? Getting it? Remember, if you are vulnerable, anything will offend you. A yellow, dead leaf separated from the tree is blown away in any direction of the wind. Are the winds really responsible for her predicament and her looseness? Why are you separated from the tree? And now that you are separated from the tree, it is certain that every faint breeze will have power over you. Are roots so easily upheavaled? Be rooted. Be rooted. If a person is easily shaken up, it is the most clear indication of absence of spirituality in his life. Any small event and he would be shaken up. The Upanishads very mystically say Brahm is the stabilizing tail of the universe. Brahm is the stabilizing tail of the universe. Without Brahm, there can be no stability. You would remain very unstable. Every piece of news, any happening here or there, any mood swing, any sight, any word, would have the capacity to destabilize you. Everybody would matter a lot to you. The hallmark of a spiritual man is things don't matter much to him. He can walk through a street naked, and it doesn't matter to him whether the street is deserted or full of people. Through a crowded street, he can walk naked as if nobody is looking at him. If you are afraid of nakedness in front of others, know that you are a prisoner to others. Know that you greatly lack in vitamin S. S for? That is the one way to test yourself. Am I always thinking too much of others? Do I keep thinking, what will he say? What if he hears me? What if he sees me? What will he think of me? A lot of vitamin S is needed.
So Acharya like in Parmeshwari ji's case, like the mind has a very, like in a way conditioned to automatically go into a victim identity. So this is just a mind's ploy to keep you in the superficial so that you don't.
Who is a victim?
Like you feel you are, right?
Let's define a victim.
Okay.
Who is a victim?
Somebody who gets hurt.
A victim is someone, no, a victim is fundamentally someone who is innocent but became a subject of the mechanisms of the evil one. When you say you are a victim, then you say, I am innocent, the other one is evil. Right? So the moment you declare yourself a victim, you are saying, I don't need to change, the other needs to change. So, terming yourself a victim is a great and ugly ploy to keep defending yourself and to not to change. I am just a helpless victim. I am innocent. I am pure. I am all right. The evil belongs to the other. So if somebody has to change, it is the other. Not me, not me. I am all right. I have just been victimized. Sir, you have not been victimized. You have been a participant in the evil. You are just not a sufferer. You are a perpetrator. You are not a passive recipient of the other's evil designs. You are an active participant in the game of evil. So let the mind not be supported when it goes into the victim mode. Nobody is a victim. Nobody ever was a victim. If you are hurt, it means there is evil lurking in you. And a victim is a victim because he is hurt. And you cannot be hurt if you are in God. Being a victim, getting hurt itself tells that you are not in God. You are in ego, you are in yourself. It's beautiful when the wise ones tell us that the only sin is suffering. That must perplex you, right? Suffering is sin. Suffering is sin. We thought we have to help the sufferers. We thought the sufferers are innocent people. No. Suffering is sin. The more you suffer, the more you weep, the more you are demonstrating how big a sinner you are. How can you suffer while being in the truth? Please tell me. If you are suffering, it means you went into the prohibited area. You ate the prohibited fruit. You did what you were told to not to do. So you are suffering. When you suffer, pause and ask yourself, I must have done something extremely horrible to experience this. The moment anything starts corrupting your mind, clouding your mind, making you heavy, pause and ask yourself, what evil am I participating in to experience this? Because the mind cannot go heavy without participating in evil. The reward of the devoted one, the one devoted to truth, is lightness. If you are heavy, it is a punishment. And you are aggravating the punishment by declaring that justice has not been done. When you call yourself a victim, is that not what you say? Justice has not been done. Sir, if you are suffering, it is justice delivered, not justice denied. If you are suffering, it is because God is doing justice. You have done something for which you should suffer. Therefore, suffering is sin. Therefore, only sinners suffer. Therefore, the man of truth is incapable of suffering. Yes, his apparatus, his body mind thing will be in pain, but deep within, his true identity would be untouched by suffering. Never, never, never support the victim card. And the ego plays it again and again, again and again. I am a victim, I am a victim. Nobody is a victim. You are just getting the fruits of what you did. You are not a victim. If you suffered, it was a punishment delivered by the highest authority. Don't challenge that decision. Don't challenge your punishment. I repeat, it is not about what happened to you. It is about you allowing
It
the happening to affect you. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's an unpredictable world. Anything can happen. Tell me, why did you allow the happening to become your suffering? That's the question. I'm not saying bad things don't happen. Bad things, worse things, absolutely terrible things do happen. Yes, they do happen. Nobody is questioning that. The question is,
Why did it affect you?
why did you allow the happening to
Affect you.
affect you, rule you, become too much on you? Even the gravest happening should have been just that much. A happening. What is it? A happening. It cannot become your internal condition. Your internal condition, your sanctum sanctorum, must always remain very, very untouched, very infallible, not penetrable at all. It should be an impregnable fortress. That is another way how the scriptures have defined the self. That it is
An impenetrable fortress.
the place where nobody can reach. It is the great fortress that cannot be violated. You cannot breach the Atman. अलंघ्य, अनिंद्य, अटूट, अखंड,